There is a hidden enemy that most people over 60 never even see coming. It doesn't announce itself with pain or sudden symptoms. It works quietly, slowly, almost invisibly, until one day, ordinary movements feel heavier, steps feel less certain, and activities that once required no thought now demand effort. This enemy is muscle loss, and it is far more common, far more destructive, and far more underestimated than most people realize. It is not simply an inconvenience of aging, it is a gradual theft of independence, vitality, and freedom. The tragedy is that many accept it as a natural, unavoidable part of life. They shrug it off as just getting older, not realizing that what they are losing is more than muscle, it's balance, resilience, and the ability to fully engage with the world. The decline does not arrive overnight. It begins subtly, with a little more fatigue in the afternoon, a slightly slower pace when walking, or an unfamiliar weakness when lifting something that used to feel light. Over time, these small changes add up, and the result is a body that can no longer perform at its potential. But here's the truth that is rarely spoken: muscle loss is not a fixed destiny. The human body has an extraordinary capacity to heal, rebuild, and grow, even in the later decades of life. It is not the number of candles on a birthday cake that determines strength. It is the signals sent to the body and the fuel provided to respond to those signals. Science has proven that the right approach can not only slow muscle loss, it can reverse it. That means the loss of strength after 60 is not an inevitable downhill slope. It is a condition that can be addressed, challenged, and even overturned. And the path to that reversal is not found in extreme exercise routines, expensive supplements, or complicated programs. It begins with something as simple and accessible as food. Food is not just fuel, it is information. Every bite sends a message to the body, telling it either to maintain, to decline, or to rebuild. There is a specific category of nutrients capable of reigniting the body's muscle-building machinery, nutrients that older adults often lack without even realizing it. When these nutrients are restored, something remarkable happens. Energy returns, strength comes back, and movements feel easier. The legs become more stable, the back feels more supportive, and the arms regain the ability to carry, lift, and handle life's demands without hesitation. It is important to understand that muscle is not simply for aesthetics, it is a vital organ of longevity. Strong muscles protect bones, improve metabolism, support joints, and shield against injury. They allow for independence in everyday life, getting out of a chair without assistance, walking with confidence, and recovering quickly from illness or setbacks. Muscle is, quite literally, the body's armor against aging. Losing it too soon accelerates the decline, regaining it slows the clock. Too many people over 60 believe they have missed the window for building strength. They think that what's gone cannot be recovered, yet countless studies tell a different story. Men and women well into their 70s and even 80s have rebuilt significant muscle mass with the right nutrition and activity. In some cases, they have regained levels of strength they hadn't experienced in decades. This is not theory, it is documented reality. The body does not stop responding to the right signals simply because of age. It stops responding when those signals are absent. Muscle loss is not a punishment for growing older. It is a warning sign that the body is not being given what it needs to thrive. The good news is that the solution is both straightforward and within reach. It begins with identifying the key nutrient that sparks muscle growth and making it a consistent part of the daily diet. This is the nutrient that flips the biological switch from breakdown to buildup. Without it, the muscle-building process remains dormant. With it, the body begins to strengthen again, sometimes within weeks. Imagine waking up in the morning with more stability in your legs, feeling steadier on your feet, moving through the day with renewed confidence, and ending the day without the deep exhaustion that once seemed inevitable. This is not wishful thinking. It is a physical transformation driven by the right nourishment. Aging is inevitable, but weakness is not. The choice between decline and strength is not made at a single moment in life. It is made every day with every meal. The next decade does not have to be one of slow surrender. It can be a decade of renewal. The question is not whether muscle can be regained after 60. The question is whether the opportunity will be seized. Understanding the enemy to defeat any enemy, the first step is to understand exactly what it is, how it works, and why it attacks. The gradual weakening of the body after 60 is often blamed on just getting older, but the true culprit has a name: sarcopenia. It is the medical term for age-related muscle loss, and while the name may sound distant and clinical, the reality it creates is deeply personal and life-altering. Sarcopenia does not strike suddenly like a lightning bolt. It begins years before most people notice. The loss is slow, almost invisible, and that is why it is so dangerous. By the time the effects are obvious, struggling to climb stairs, difficulty lifting groceries, feeling unsteady when standing, the process has been underway for years. Research shows that after the age of 30, muscle mass begins to decline at a rate of about 3 to 5% per decade, but after 60, that decline accelerates sharply. Without intervention, a person can lose up to half of their muscle mass by the time they reach 80. Why does this happen? The reasons are both biological and behavioral. On a biological level, the body's ability to synthesize new muscle fibers diminishes with age. This is partly due to hormonal changes. Levels of growth hormone, testosterone, and estrogen all decrease, and these hormones play a role in maintaining muscle tissue. The body also becomes less efficient at absorbing and using the protein consumed in meals. This means that even if the same foods are eaten as in younger years, the muscles may receive far less benefit from them. But biology is not the only factor. Behavior and lifestyle feed this process. As people age, physical activity often decreases, not necessarily by choice, but because of work changes, retirement, injuries, or simply shifting daily routines. The less the muscles are used, the faster they weaken. Compounding this is the fact that many older adults unknowingly consume less protein than their bodies require. Appetite changes, digestion issues, or a shift toward lighter meals often lead to inadequate protein intake, leaving muscles without the raw materials they need to stay strong. And then there is inflammation, another hidden force working against the body. Chronic low-grade inflammation increases with age, a process sometimes called inflammaging. This inflammation accelerates muscle breakdown, slows recovery from even minor injuries, and makes the rebuilding process more difficult. Combined with reduced activity and lower protein intake, it creates the perfect storm for rapid muscle loss. What makes sarcopenia particularly dangerous is that it rarely exists in isolation. Muscle loss doesn't just affect strength, it impacts balance, stability, and endurance. It raises the risk of falls, which are a leading cause of serious injury in older adults. It slows metabolism, making weight gain easier and fat loss harder. It even weakens the immune system, since muscle plays a role in storing and producing proteins essential for immune defense. In short, losing muscle isn't just about losing strength. It's about losing resilience against nearly every challenge the body faces. But here is the turning point in this story. Sarcopenia is not an unstoppable force. It thrives only when it is left unchallenged. Just as it can take hold gradually, it can be reversed gradually. And the most effective weapons against it are not locked away in laboratories or reserved for elite athletes. They are available, accessible, and proven. The first weapon is awareness, understanding that muscle loss is not a given, but a condition that can be managed and defeated. The second is action, making daily choices that signal the body to build, not break down. This begins with nutrition because no amount of activity can rebuild muscle if the building blocks are missing. The body requires specific amino acids, vitamins, and minerals to switch from a state of decline into a state of repair. Without them, even the best intentions will yield limited results. It is also important to understand that the battle against sarcopenia is not about trying to match the muscle mass of youth. It is about regaining enough strength to reclaim independence, vitality, and confidence. For some, that might mean walking faster and farther without fatigue. For others, it might mean lifting, carrying, or bending without hesitation. And for many, it means knowing that they can rely on their body in moments when stability and strength truly matter. The human body is not a machine that wears out and can never be restored. It is a living, adaptable system that responds to the input it receives. Sarcopenia may be the enemy, but it is a weak one against a consistent, well-nourished, and active defense. Once its nature is understood, the next step becomes clear. Provide the body with the precise nutrients that reignite muscle growth, protect against further loss, and build strength from the inside out. This is not wishful thinking. It is a scientifically supported, achievable reality, and it all begins with knowing exactly what to eat, how much to eat, and when to eat it. Why nutrition is the key weapon. The body is an extraordinary builder, capable of constructing tissues, repairing damage, and adapting to challenges at any age. But like any builder, it can only work with the materials it is given. When those materials are scarce, the construction slows. Eventually, it stops. And in the absence of building, the body begins to dismantle what it already has to survive. This is exactly what happens to muscle tissue when the right nutrition is missing. It is a common misconception that muscle loss in older adults happens simply because of aging. While the years play a role in changing how the body processes nutrients, the true reason muscle disappears is because it is not being supplied with the raw building blocks it needs to maintain itself. The muscle fibers are constantly in a state of renewal, breaking down and rebuilding. In youth, this rebuilding process is so efficient that it outpaces the breakdown, leading to growth and strength. In later years, without the proper nutrients, the opposite occurs. Breakdown outpaces building, and the body shrinks its muscle reserves. Exercise alone is often praised as the answer to muscle loss. While movement is essential, it is only half the equation. Imagine trying to build a house with a skilled team of workers, but no bricks, wood, or cement. No matter how experienced or hard-working the team may be, nothing can be constructed without materials. In the same way, even the most perfectly designed workout program will fail to create meaningful muscle growth if the body does not have enough of the right nutrients to respond. The most crucial of these nutrients is protein, specifically the essential amino acids that make up protein. They are called essential because the body cannot make them on its own. They must come from food. Every time protein is consumed, it is broken down into these amino acids, which then circulate in the blood, ready to be used for repair and growth. Without a steady supply, the body begins to take amino acids from its own muscle tissue, leading to further loss. But protein alone is not enough. With age, the body becomes less efficient at using the protein it consumes, a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. This means that older adults require a higher quality and slightly larger quantity of protein to trigger the same muscle-building response that a younger body would achieve with less. This is one of the reasons many people over 60 unknowingly fail to meet their muscles' needs, even if they believe they are eating enough. Another mistake is concentrating the bulk of daily protein in a single meal, often dinner. While that might have worked earlier in life, the older body benefits far more from spreading protein intake evenly across the day. Each time a meal delivers a sufficient dose of high-quality protein, it sends a strong signal to the body, build muscle now. When protein is unevenly distributed, the body receives fewer of these muscle-building signals, and the result is slower repair and greater loss. The type of protein also matters. Not all sources are equally effective at stimulating muscle growth. Animal-based proteins such as lean meats, fish, eggs, and dairy typically contain a complete profile of essential amino acids, including high levels of leucine, the most important amino acid for switching on muscle protein synthesis. Certain plant-based proteins like soy, quinoa, and pea protein can also provide these benefits when chosen carefully and consumed in the right amounts. The key is to prioritize sources that deliver both quality and bioavailability, the ability for the body to absorb and use them effectively. Nutrition also works best when it is paired with the right timing. The hours following physical activity, even light movement, create a window where muscles are especially receptive to nutrients. Providing high-quality protein during this time can significantly amplify growth and recovery. This is why a well-placed protein-rich snack or meal after movement can be the difference between progress and stagnation. And yet, the conversation about nutrition for muscle health is often reduced to oversimplified advice: just eat more protein. While the statement is true in essence, it fails to address the importance of the right type, amount, and distribution. It also overlooks the fact that other nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats, play critical supporting roles in helping protein do its job effectively. When the body receives a consistent supply of high-quality protein and supporting nutrients, it doesn't just stop losing muscle. It begins to rebuild. Strength returns, energy rises, and movements become smoother and more controlled. The decline that once felt inevitable begins to reverse. And it all starts with the understanding that nutrition is not merely fuel, it is the command center, the control switch that tells the body whether to break down or build up. The fight against muscle loss is not a battle of willpower alone, it is a battle of supply. Give the body what it needs, and it will respond. Deny it, and the decline continues. The choice is made daily, with every bite. And for those who choose to fight, the next step is to identify the single nutrient that plays the most powerful role in switching muscle growth back on: the power of leucine. When it comes to rebuilding muscle after 60, not all nutrients are created equal. Protein as a whole provides the essential building blocks, but within that protein lies a single amino acid that acts as the master key, a switch that tells the body, start building muscle now. That amino acid is leucine. Leucine is part of a group known as branched-chain amino acids, or BCAAs, which include leucine, isoleucine, and valine. All three are important, but leucine stands apart because of its direct role in activating a process called muscle protein synthesis. Think of this process as the body's construction crew. Without leucine, the crew is idle, waiting for instructions. With leucine, the crew receives a clear signal to get to work, repairing and building new muscle fibers. The challenge is that as the body ages, its sensitivity to leucine declines. In younger years, even a small amount of leucine is enough to flip the muscle-building switch. But after 60, the body requires a higher dose to trigger the same response. This is one reason why many older adults lose muscle even when they believe they are eating enough protein. They may be consuming protein sources low in leucine or not getting enough leucine per meal to activate muscle growth. Research consistently shows that leucine is the most potent amino acid for overcoming anabolic resistance, the reduced ability to build muscle with age. In fact, studies have demonstrated that older adults who increase their leucine intake see significant improvements in muscle mass, strength, and recovery speed, even without dramatic changes to their exercise habits. It is a nutrient that doesn't just support muscle growth, it initiates it. So where does leucine come from? It is found in varying amounts in many protein-rich foods. The richest sources include lean meats like chicken and beef, fish such as tuna and salmon, dairy products like cheese, milk, and yogurt, and eggs. Whey protein, a byproduct of dairy, is particularly high in leucine and is absorbed quickly, making it an ideal choice for muscle recovery. Plant-based sources such as soy, lentils, chickpeas, and peanuts also contain leucine, though often in lower amounts, which means larger portions may be needed to match the leucine content of animal-based foods. The key to making leucine work is not just consuming it occasionally, it's about reaching the threshold amount at each meal. For most older adults, that threshold is around 5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal. To put this into perspective, that could mean roughly 3 to 4 ounces of chicken breast, 4 to 5 ounces of lean beef, 1 scoop of high-quality whey, protein powder, 3 to 4 large eggs, or a well-combined plant-based protein blend designed to meet leucine needs. Simply getting some leucine throughout the day is not enough. If a meal falls short of the leucine threshold, the muscle-building switch stays off, no matter how much total protein is eaten. This is why spreading adequate leucine across all main meals is so powerful. It ensures the muscle-building signal is activated multiple times a day, keeping the body in a state of growth and repair. Timing also plays a crucial role. Leucine is most effective when the muscles are primed to use it, after waking up, when the body has been fasting overnight, and after physical activity, when muscle tissue is especially responsive to nutrients. Starting the day with a leucine-rich breakfast can halt overnight muscle breakdown and set the tone for a stronger day ahead. Following activity with a leucine-rich snack or shake can accelerate recovery and growth, but leucine does more than build muscle. By supporting muscle mass, it indirectly supports balance, coordination, and metabolic health. Stronger muscles mean more stability, fewer falls, better posture, and a more active metabolism that helps maintain a healthy weight. In short, leucine is not just a nutrient, it's a catalyst for reclaiming vitality. There is a misconception that nutrient timing and amino acid profiles are concerns only for athletes or bodybuilders. The reality is that for someone over 60, paying attention to leucine intake is not about vanity. It's about maintaining the ability to move freely, stay independent, and enjoy life without the limitations that come from weakness and fragility. The science is clear. Leucine is the key that unlocks the muscle-building process. Without enough of it, the body remains in maintenance, or worse, in decline. With it, even at 75% or beyond, muscle growth becomes not just possible but probable. The task, then, is simple but urgent. Ensure every day includes multiple opportunities for leucine to do its work. And that leads to the next question, the most practical one of all: which foods deliver leucine in the most effective, convenient, and enjoyable way so that the body can begin reversing muscle loss starting today? The food that changes everything. After understanding the role of leucine, the path to reversing muscle loss becomes clearer. It is no longer a vague idea about eating better or getting more protein. It becomes a precise, targeted mission, Identify the foods that are rich in leucine, provide them to the body in the right amounts, and repeat the process consistently. This is the strategy that transforms muscle decline into muscle growth. Among all leucine-rich foods, one stands out as particularly effective for older adults: whey protein. Whey is not just a supplement used by athletes, it is one of the most concentrated, rapidly absorbed sources of leucine available. When consumed, whey protein quickly delivers a powerful dose of leucine to the bloodstream, flipping the muscle-building switch within minutes. It digests faster than most whole foods, which means it reaches the muscles exactly when they are most ready to use it, such as first thing in the morning or right after physical activity. This speed matters. With age, the body's anabolic response, its ability to build muscle, becomes more sluggish. The quicker leucine can reach muscle tissue, the stronger the growth signal. Whey protein excels here, making it an ideal tool for older adults who want results without waiting months to notice change. And because it is light and easy to prepare, it avoids the common problem of feeling too full or lacking appetite for heavy meals. But whey protein is not the only option. For those who prefer whole foods, lean animal proteins offer an excellent supply of leucine. Chicken breast, turkey, lean beef, pork tenderloin, and fish such as salmon, tuna, or cod all deliver substantial amounts. A modest portion, about the size of a palm, can meet the leucine threshold needed to activate muscle building. Eggs are another powerful choice, containing a rich mix of amino acids with a particularly high leucine content in the yolk. A breakfast of 3 to 4 eggs can be enough to signal the body to start building muscle. Dairy products like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and certain hard cheeses also provide a steady stream of leucine, with the added benefit of calcium for bone health. For those who enjoy dairy, these foods can easily be incorporated into snacks or light meals throughout the day. Plant-based eaters are not excluded from this strategy. While most plant proteins contain less leucine per serving than animal proteins, careful selection and combination can bridge the gap. Soy products like tofu, tempeh, and soy milk are among the best plant-based leucine sources. Lentils, chickpeas, black beans, and peanuts also contribute, though larger portions are often required to reach the optimal leucine threshold. Blended plant-based protein powders made from pea, rice, or soy protein can be especially useful, as they can be formulated to match or even exceed the leucine content of whey. What matters most is not whether the leucine comes from animal or plant sources, but that each meal delivers enough of it to activate muscle protein synthesis. The magic number for most older adults is 5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal. This is not guesswork. It is the amount shown in research to reliably switch the body from a state of muscle breakdown into one of muscle growth. Another key advantage of these leucine-rich foods is their versatility. They can be woven into any style of eating: breakfast omelets, lunchtime chicken salads, afternoon yogurt bowls, or evening grilled fish. Whey protein shakes can be blended with fruits, nuts, or vegetables to create nutrient-dense snacks that are quick and satisfying. The point is not to follow a rigid meal plan, but to make leucine-rich eating an effortless part of daily life. When these foods are eaten regularly, the body begins to change in ways that go beyond appearance. Strength improves, not just in the gym but in real life. Carrying groceries becomes easier. Rising from a chair takes less effort. Climbing stairs feels less daunting. These are the quiet victories that come from nourishing the muscles consistently. It is important to remember that this is not about a single miracle food eaten once in a while. The power lies in repetition. Just as muscle loss happens gradually over time, muscle gain happens gradually too. Each leucine-rich meal is like a deposit into a strength savings account. The more consistent the deposits, the faster the balance grows, and the more secure the body becomes against weakness and frailty. In short, the Eat This solution is not a fad. It is a scientifically grounded, easy-to-implement habit. Prioritize leucine-rich protein sources in every meal. Whether that comes from whey protein, lean meats, eggs, dairy, soy, or other high-quality sources, the result is the same. The muscle-building switch gets flipped, and strength begins to return. And once the right foods are identified, the next step is learning when to eat them for maximum impact. Because while food quality matters greatly, timing can amplify the benefits even further. Timing is just as important. Knowing what to eat is powerful, but knowing when to eat it can make the difference between slow, modest results and noticeable, life-changing progress. For reversing muscle loss after 60, timing is not a small detail. It is a key factor that determines how efficiently the body uses the nutrients it receives. The older body does not respond to nutrition in the same way as it did decades earlier. One of the biggest changes with age is the phenomenon known as anabolic resistance, the reduced sensitivity of muscles to protein and amino acids, including leucine. In younger years, even a small snack with protein could trigger muscle repair. But past 60, the muscle-building machinery needs a stronger, clearer signal, and that signal needs to be sent multiple times throughout the day. Many older adults unknowingly sabotage their muscle health by concentrating most of their daily protein into a single meal, usually dinner. Breakfast might be a slice of toast or a piece of fruit, lunch a light sandwich or salad, and dinner the main source of protein. This uneven distribution means the muscles go long stretches of the day without enough amino acids to stimulate growth. By the time the high-protein dinner arrives, the body can only use a portion of it for building muscle. The rest is used for other bodily functions or stored as energy. The solution is to spread protein and leucine intake evenly across 3 main meals, aiming to reach the leucine threshold at each one. This way, the muscle-building signal is triggered 3 separate times per day, rather than just once. Over weeks and months, this triple activation adds up to far greater muscle preservation and growth. Morning is especially critical. Overnight, the body enters a fasted state, breaking down some muscle tissue to supply energy and amino acids for basic functions. By the time the day begins, the body is primed to absorb nutrients. But if breakfast is low in protein, the rebuilding process stalls and the breakdown continues. A leucine-rich breakfast, such as eggs, Greek yogurt, or a whey protein shake, stops this breakdown and shifts the body into repair mode. Midday is the second opportunity. Energy levels tend to dip, and muscles need another dose of amino acids to stay in a growth-supportive state. A lunch that includes chicken, fish, tofu, or legumes, combined with whole grains and vegetables, not only supports muscle, but also stabilizes energy for the rest of the afternoon. Evening is the final activation point. While some people believe it's better to avoid protein late in the day, the truth is that muscles repair and grow during rest, especially during sleep. Providing them with a balanced, leucine-rich dinner ensures that the body has the raw materials it needs to recover overnight. For those who want to take timing one step further, there is the concept of a protein pulse after activity. Muscles are especially receptive to nutrients within about 2 hours after exercise. This is often called the anabolic window. Whether the activity is a structured workout, a long walk, or even household tasks that involve lifting and movement, following it with a protein-rich snack can amplify the benefits. A small whey protein shake, a serving of cottage cheese, or even a tuna sandwich can be enough to speed up recovery and growth. Some also benefit from a pre-sleep protein boost, especially those aiming for faster gains. A slow-digesting protein source like casein, found in cottage cheese or casein protein powder, taken about 30 minutes before bed, can drip-feed amino acids to the muscles throughout the night, reducing breakdown and supporting repair. However, the most important point is consistency. One high-protein day will not reverse months or years of muscle loss. Just as muscle declines gradually, it rebuilds gradually. By hitting the leucine threshold at multiple times each day, day after day, the body receives a continuous repeated message: keep the muscles, make them stronger. It is also worth noting that meal timing works best when paired with hydration and micronutrient support. Muscles need water to function efficiently, and certain vitamins and minerals, such as vitamin D, magnesium, and potassium, play supporting roles in contraction, recovery, and protein metabolism. Drinking enough water and eating a variety of nutrient-rich foods ensures that protein and leucine can do their work to the fullest. In summary, the right foods provide the building blocks, but strategic timing ensures those blocks are delivered exactly when the body is most ready to use them. When every meal becomes an opportunity to stimulate muscle growth, the results are no longer left to chance. They become the natural outcome of a smart, deliberate routine.